Thank you. And I acknowledge receipt of the sentencing memorandum by defense counsel, the sentencing memorandum by the state, some additional exhibits by the state, and a variety of letters, which I'll discuss in detail later. Mr. Gregor, sir, is there anything you'd like to say about yourself or your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And Brianna, we haven't talked since Corey passed away. With everything that has been said, I just want to tell you that I'm sorry that you lost Corey. He was, to say simply, the best. I know we'll miss him for the rest of our lives. And the 2 years that I knew Corey were very difficult, but they were the greatest years of my life. And he was a happy, energetic, loving, radiant young boy who flourished in his life in all aspects the last year of his life. And sorry. That will be how I remember him. And Corey, wherever you are, I just want to say that I'm proud of you and everything that you did. The last months of his life, us three, Brianna, Corey, and me, we spent more time together than apart. All those hikes and walks, trips to the beach, time spent playing football and all the other sports, going to Sky Zone, the park, the playground, sledding, and all of that, I saw how much Brianna loved Corey, how much he loved her, and how well we could co-parent together. Those memories and all the good times, they'll be what I remember, and they helped me get through the tough days. And I hope that they can help you too, Brianna. I'm sorry you believe I could have done this to our son, and it pains me to know that you view my actions those months together as ingenuine, that I could have hurt the most important person in my life. What happened on March 20th was inexcusable. To you, Brianna, your family, and mine, I want to apologize that you had to see Corey treated that way. He never deserved it. I understand this single moment will overshadow all of the others, but it's not representative of who I am, who Corey was, and his relationship with me and him. I want to assure you that on April 2nd, I did nothing to cause Corey's passing. I didn't hurt my son. I loved him and I still do. I regret not bringing him to the hospital sooner. I didn't know how sick he was. I didn't know. I just thought he was tired. And whether you believe Dr. Bodden or Dr. Andrews' version of the events, the outcome is still the same. Corey is gone. He had so much to give this world, and he still can. What we do in his memory, for his memory, things that he would want us to do, that's all we have now. To the court staff, sheriff officers, to the jury, and to you, Your Honor, thank you for being professional through this whole process. I understand you have a job to do today, Your Honor. Sentence me for the crimes I've been convicted of today. I ask that you please consider all of the evidence presented in and out of this courtroom when making your decision today. I ask you to sentence me fairly, taking into consideration my entire life, and not just based on the 12 days. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Mr. Glucci, anything further from the defense side?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. And I'll defer to either prosecutor for the state.
Thank you, Judge. Corey was a beautiful 6-year-old whose life was taken from him, and there's nothing that I am going to be able to say that is more important than the facts that came out in this courtroom, and more important as to what the defendant did. It is difficult to think about the suffering that Corey had to endure both during his life and during his death. It is difficult to contemplate the fear that he must have lived with every single day, doing the little things in life and even doing the simple things every time that he was with his father, the defendant. Christopher Gregor abused his son. He ended his life. And then he left him alone in the hospital to die. One can only imagine what was going through Corey's mind in those last moments. One could only imagine how scared he was, how confused that he was, how truly abandoned that he felt. And there is simply no mitigation for those actions. Aggravating factor number 1 applies. The defendant's actions were cruel and depraved beyond the elements of the offense. In regard to the endangering, Your Honor, Corey didn't merely run on a treadmill and fall. He fell. The defendant bit him on the head, and he fell 5 more times. In regard to the ending of his life, Corey suffered a laceration to his heart, but those were not the only injuries. He also had a lacerated liver and a bruise to his lungs. He suffered multiple injuries. While Corey was at the apartment, he vomited, he defecated, he endured suffering. While Corey was fighting for his life, the defendant took a selfie, not even having the decency to put a shirt on Corey. While Corey's body was shutting down, the defendant ordered food. When Corey was going into cardiac arrest, the defendant was more concerned about the date that he had set up for that night. The defendant didn't call 911. He didn't call a doctor. He didn't call an ambulance. He did nothing. And this added to the suffering that that little boy had to undergo. The defendant then throws Corey in the back seat of the car, where he is left all alone. When the defendant gets to the hospital, he tells the staff not to contact Corey's mother. While he's on the phone with Corey's mother, he does not tell her where Corey is. Not only did he end Corey's life